Hi Flosstube, I'm Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and it is Tuesday, July 9th, and I have some projects I'm excited to share with you, and some stitchy updates. I had told you in my last video I had just been to the oral surgeon and was awaiting an extraction. This week I've been awaiting the consultation for the second opinion with a different oral surgeon. So I'm still waiting and worrying, and I stitch while I'm stressed, so I have lots to show you. This is the Realest Cuckoo Clock kit, and I don't know if the camera is going to pick up all of the shading. There are so many blended threads and so many shades of brown, and I love this. I love Cuckoo Clocks. There is the kit picture, so you can see what I'm going to wind up with when I am done. This, I have decided, for the moment, is kind of my focus piece, and I'm working on it every day, and I love it, because right now I kind of love everything I am stitching. I have a finish. I finished the Splashing Fun bookmark from the All Our Yesterdays cross-stitch book, and backstitch is not always the most fun thing that we do, but oh my gosh, guys, look at the shading and the back stitching, and I kind of want to stitch every project in this book that I borrowed from the library. I know it would get old after the first couple, but for right now this is one of my favorite things. And I have finished bookmarks before, but this one has the pointy bit. If I had been planning like a reasonable stitcher, I would not have stitched this dark blue point, and I could have finished it the way I know how to finish it, and all would end well, but I have inadvertently made myself a challenge. So there's that. Somehow I did not show Welcome to Camp Crystal Lake in the last video. I had a lot of this progress done, and then I stitched the L and the A and got started on the image down here last night. Do you see what is wrong with it? If you do, please tell me, because I'm debating whether I should fix it or not, and having someone else's opinion would help me make that decision. For the first time since before Stitch Mania, I pulled out Beacon at Daybreak. Guys, I have no idea where or what, or I'm lost. I did some half cross stitches over here in the sky to avoid figuring out just how lost I am, despite my grid lines and all of my best efforts. It's going to take some time to figure out what I was doing here. I also pulled out crocuses on the windowsill. See which way is up. And those are yarn balls in a book, and in case you cannot picture the yarn balls and the book, there is the pattern picture to give you an idea what I'm working towards. This one is actually only 9 3/4 by 9 3/4, so it is not as big as it looks like it's going to be. And I have gushed before on my Realest kits about the Cat with Clock and how it only had 10 colors and the amazing things it did with that 10 colors. Not all of their kits have such a limited color palette. This is what's going to go into crocuses, a whole lot of gray for that window. So I'm having fun with this one, and I am excited to see how it comes out. And I pulled out ripe apples again yesterday, day before, doesn't matter. Did some more of the blends and the apples, and I am just, this apple, guys, the shading on this apple, I love it. There were a few of my 20 Mania starts, maybe 4 or 5, that I don't, honestly, I don't see myself finishing them, and I'm not punishing myself over that, because if I finish 10 or 15 of the 20, then I did good. One of the ones I had my doubts about was Furry Friends, and I love this image. I don't like cats, but I mean, it's got a clock and books, and I can tolerate cats. I had, when I started it for Mania, stitched just a little bit here in the corner, and it was not fun. I was not in the mood for stitching that day, I guess, but I started again, and got working on the lamp. And yeah, I can see myself finishing this one. The only thing that gives me pause is it's huge. So, few hours at a time and a little element at a time, and I think I will get through it. We'll see. This is for fun. This is not a punishing slog I have to do. And I also picked up Canner's Kitchen, which is on one of the last days I knew I was going to be able to stitch for Mania. I literally grabbed a magazine from, oh, this is that one. I grabbed a magazine from a pile and went, oh, it's Halloween. There's got to be something in there I want to stitch. Did not like the Halloween patterns, but look at that with all of the shading, and I'm excited about still lifes, and I'm going to leave all this blue stuff off. Look at the shading on that pickle jar. There, my cat is going nuts in the kitchen. There's going to be back stitching to further, it's the word I want, enhance the edges of the pickles. Distinguish the pickles one from another. I am not sure. But I really like this one, and I'm glad I picked it back up. I've had a couple quick trips to the thrift store, have not found anything that I absolutely love. But at the Friends of the Library bookstore, for $2, I picked up Cross Stitch Myth and Magic, and it was $2. I should not think that hard about $2. I flipped through and I went, I don't know if I want to stitch anything in here, but I could make a video out of it. Got home and looked a little harder. There's a Teresa Winsler in here. And there is, of course I can't find the thing I want to show you. There's the Frost Fairy. Loving the Frost Fairy. That whole color chart is shades of blue, which I think would be challenging, but I did a flip through, and I'll link to it from this video. It's a neat book. It's got and lots of little fantasy spot motifs. So if you're looking for little fantasy spot motifs, there are castles and a raven and seahorses, and oh, did I tell you there's a mermaid in here? All the stuff. I am still collecting patterns for the Row by Row experience, and one of the quilt shops is right next to Craft Warehouse. So I ducked in there because they had signs that they were having a flea market sale, and they had 40% off coupons. Craft Warehouse never, maybe once a year they have 40% off coupons, and I don't live near them, so I rarely get to use them. They had a 40% off coupon, and I had a gift card from Christmas, and guys, look at this quilt pattern. It's called Awesome Ocean. It's by Elizabeth Hartman. It has otters and pufferfish and octopuses and just all the everything, and I've been wanting this pattern for quite a while, but it's a $30 pattern, and honestly, for the creativity that went into this, I don't object to paying the designer more for an awesome pattern at all. But she also has like 6 or 8 or 10 patterns that I would love to own, and at $30 a pop, yeah. But they had a 40% off coupon, and I had a gift card, and just look at it. And I did not realize, because it was in plastic that I took off, this is a like stapled book. I can't show you, of course, the innards of the stapled book here. This isn't pattern. It's real. I was expecting like white paper with lines on it. This is, I'm excited. I'm going to make this. I don't know when I'm going to make this, but I'm going to make this. And while I was buying that one, I glanced at the display of her patterns. Guys, it's Cuckoo Clocks. It is sized to be a nice lap quilt to snuggle under. I have lots of brown scraps of calico. I am making this pattern. Now, while I was looking for links to go to a blog post about these, I found out Her big patterns are on Amazon, and on Amazon they are slightly less than I paid with the 40% off, so that bunch of patterns that I hoped I could someday get are now much more within my reach. So I'm happy. I support the designers, absolutely, 100%. Support the designers within my budget with brand new patterns that are at a price I can afford to pay, absolutely 100%. And if Craft Warehouse is running coupons, they have figured out that that is not hurting them for me to buy it with a coupon. Other thing, I have been watching videos while I've been stitching, of course, because what else do you do while you are stitching? And if you remember how giddy I was about Vicky's 1940s Better Homes and Gardens new cookbook that I found a few weeks ago, the vlogger over at Bible Scraps, I'm sorry I don't know her first name, she found a recipe book that is one of those old magnetic photo albums and does a flip through, and it is amazing. And if you want to see what other women of the past tucked into their cookbook, go watch it. It is really neat, and I will put a link to it in the description. I have been watching everybody getting their little milk glass thingies to hold their scissors, and had posted a picture of one that I saw at the thrift shop that was more money than I wanted to pay, and my mom saw it and gave me a call. This was Grandma's. Grandma collected milk glass. She had it for my entire childhood. She had a hutch full of milk glass. And Mom wanted to know if this might work for my scissors. I thought it was too fragile. First I said, yes, please, I would like it. And then I thought the holes are completely and totally not angled properly to put scissors in, and I'm never going to have that many scissors anyway. But it's gorgeous, and I think I'm going to put it on the table in my sewing room and pile yarn in it, because after Grandma passed away, there was some discussion of her milk glass and the current value of milk glass, and it pushes my buttons when I hear people talking about the value of antiques and the idea that if nobody will pay top dollar for it, nobody wants it, and the money on this. Grandma's milk glass was going to go at the estate sale. There wasn't an estate sale because family members absorbed everything. And in all of the chaos, I believe that all of the milk, I have some of the milk glass pieces here, and I believe the rest is packed up in boxes, whether it is currently in my attic or my mother's, I am not sure. But at some day in the future, after I do not have a house full of teenagers and I have some more space to fill, the milk glass is mine. And I wish I could have had the hutch, but I couldn't, and the milk glass is mine, and this is mine. And dang it, Grandma, if you had 50 bazillion milk glass candy dishes, you couldn't have had one of the little scissor holder thingies? How could she not? I don't understand. And honestly, if I had known I wanted one of those before Grandma passed away, I would have had a milk glass scissor fob thingy in my hands within 5 minutes, because that was what she did. So day after tomorrow, I see the second oral surgeon. If nothing unforeseen happens, the day after that, I am taking off for Sisters, Oregon for the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show. And my mom and I are making a girls' weekend of it. I am not bringing the boys. My father is going home to their place in Salem while I am there so that we can sit and sew and play, and I am really looking forward to this more than you can possibly imagine. We're kind of spoiled beyond belief. Their house is 3 blocks, I think, off of Main Street, so we get up in the morning, roll out of bed, and walk 3 blocks, and we are in the midst of the quilts. and then it gets too hot. We go back to the house and we use her bathroom and sit in the air conditioning a bit and go look at more quilts. And when we first started going to the quilt show, they did not have the Sisters House, and I would get up early in the morning, drive 2.5 hours with a minivan full of kids, and there have been years it's been over 100 degrees while we were there, and it's a different experience now. I'm spoiled. Mom is spoiled. If you are planning on being at the Sisters Quilt Show and want to see about maybe meeting up for a little while, I am there, if all goes well, Friday through Sunday, and would love to hear from you, so message me on Facebook or Instagram or something. I think that is everything I had to show with you. I wanted to get this done before I started packing for the quilt show, or before the dentist said something that made me more frazzled than I've been. I did forget the knitting. I am working on the big pink shawl, which I believe I have showed you, and it's coming along. I've got this much more yarn to knit into it, and I will finish it, but it's not the most exciting project that anybody has ever knitted. And same thing with the self-striping blue socks. I'm kind of not making time to work on these because I know they will be what I want for a road trip later this summer. I need to get something on my needles that's more fun and stimulating, but honestly, I'm having so much fun with the cross stitch right now that I'm not missing not having something fun on my needles. Thank you so much for watching. I am Michelle with Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and I will see you again after the quilt show